Oh, that's good. Yeah. I'm sad I
Oh,
didn't get to check out your live show with Aaron, but since we're now live on this show, why don't
oh
you
wow.
pimp that a little bit?
I will. Yeah. Hi guys. Nice to see you all again.
It's been too long.
It has been, if it feels like forever and yet no time at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird way of that. I am
2020.
doing
Sorry.
this is the worst year I've ever lived in. So, yeah. What was I saying? Infinite Trek. Infinite Trek is a Twitch streaming show on the channel Outpost 13. That's the word Outpost number 13. And we do it every Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And it is available after we have broadcast live. So you can still go to that channel and see previous videos. And then it will be released as an audio podcast on Tuesday after that.
Let me guess. Tuesday.
Exactly. That is exactly the thought behind that. We were gonna go with Monday, and then Monday was just a little too quick. And in fact, during the last live show that we did, Aaron's name on the screen was "Don't Tell Me" Tuesday.
Oh shoot, that's right. I forgot he did make that joke. So
He did.
I thought I was all original there and stuff, but nope.
Oh no. It's perfect. It's kismet. It's kismet. It's
Absolutely. So yeah, hi everybody. It's been forever since we've done this. I'm Dan Gunther. That's Brandi. Oh, I pointed the right way too. I'm so surprised. Oh
yeah, it's you.
It is. This is fun. We have new Star Trek to talk about. This is so cool. And yeah, TJ, feels like it's been a month of 2020 time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Absolutely. 2020 is weird because it's both fast and slow. I don't get it. Like it's weird.
Yeah, the bad parts are really, really slow and the good parts go far too quickly.
This is true. Yeah.
I think that's true of life in general, but
yeah. So yeah, we took basically about a month off, which was good. You know, July was a little crazy. August is also crazy, but what the heck? Let's do this anyway. So, yeah. Oh, and Chris Littlefield is not supposed to be here apparently, but he is.
He told me he wasn't going to be here.
Well, it's a happy surprise.
Yes.
Definitely. So, today we are talking about the Lower Decks episode Second Contact, and it makes me so happy to say that because, like I said, new Star Trek. And I don't know, going into this, let's start. I want to ask you, Brandi, how much were you anticipating this series? Was it something you were really excited for, or just kind of like about, or like not looking forward to it at all? I mean, I know you, so I think I know what the answer is, but I still want to hear.
It's new Trek. Why wouldn't I be anticipating this? Plus, it's the first premiere of an animated series since 1973. That's as old as I am. That's 47 years.
47
do you think they did that purposely?
Probably not, but I like that idea.
They did. It's fine. It's fine.
We could have done it 5 years ago, but let's wait for the 47 because you know.
Yeah. So of course I was anticipating it. I embrace new Trek in all its forms. I may not necessarily always enjoy everything. Most 99% of the time I enjoy it. So we're all good.
Yeah, and this one I think I was anticipating really because you know, as different as Discovery is, and even more different as Picard is, I think this one, even though it's got a lot of elements that are very familiar Star Trek, it's still like a half-hour Star Trek sitcom, which is even different from what the animated series was, because it was not meant to be comedic at all. But this is just out and out like a sitcom. And I mean, right from the beginning, I've seen online people saying like that opening scene where, you know, Mariner cuts Boimler with the batleth and we never hear about that again. What the heck happened there? And I'm like, have you never seen a sitcom? There's always that scene before the opening that just seems to have no relation to the rest of the episode. Not all the time, but sometimes, you know, where there's just like a one-off joke and then they go into the story of the week, right? So I was like, oh yeah, it's a sitcom.
Yeah, and frankly, what happened afterwards, they rushed him to sick bay where Dr. Ta'ana probably repaired his femoral artery so that he didn't bleed out.
Yeah, I mean, do we need to see that? I mean,
No.
like even later in the episode, like that line Mariner says, "Oh, you'll be fine. Doctor will wave a light over you." Like,
Yep.
yeah, that's what happened earlier too.
Yep.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
for sure. So, yeah, we've got some comments here.
Yes.
Donnie Pearson. I love the debut episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. Oh, and it's a comment in 2 parts. I also love its theme tune and score by Chris Westlake. Okay, so let's talk about the opening credits then, because I love. You know, it's funny actually. I had to listen to it a few times, and it's still not imprinted on my brain. The music, like I liked the theme, but in the same way that like Discovery and Picard just kind of immediately imprinted themselves on my brain, I can't bring it up right now, which is kind of, I've never had that happen before, but I do love the theme music.
Yeah, I watched the episode 4 times before doing this, not in a row, but I did watch it twice in one day because once I watched it and then the second time I watched it with subtitles because there was
Yeah.
a lot of dialogue coming out of Mariner's mouth and I wanted to make sure I got it all. Tawny Newsome, master. I can only say wonderful things about her in this episode, of course. But yeah, so I can hear the music in my head, not the entire theme. I don't have it all in there yet, but that opening bit where the theme really starts, where you see the title card of this show. Yeah, I can hear that in my head, and
Yeah.
it's got some similar sounds to the animated series. And in fact, my good friend Aaron Harvey, who is my co-host on Infinite Trek, he actually compared a couple of sections, put them back to back for me so that I could hear. And I'm like, yeah, thematically, those are very similar. And that I don't think that was an accident. I think that's kind of like
Definitely
honoring.
not. Yeah, I'm working on an Easter eggs and canon connections video, and that's something I noted as well that I'm working on in part of it. But like, not only that, the very start of the credits sounds like the TNG, like that
Mm-hmm.
little hint, and
Just right before the space, the final.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just
just
right before
as
that.
it's going into that nebula,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, the opening like boom, boom, that sounded very TOS, and then the TAS stuff comes in right there, and I'm like, I think that's partially why I'm having trouble bringing it up in my head, because I hear those notes and then my brain immediately like, oh, shifts into those, and I'm like, no, no, no. So, but yeah, that's just
I
me.
have the same problem with with some of the music from the Harry Potter movies and some of
Mhm.
the music from Jurassic Park.
Oh
Sometimes
yeah,
one
yeah,
will melt into the other. And I'm
yep.
like, okay, now which was this Harry Potter or was that Jurassic Park? And which part was which now? I can't remember. So it
Yeah.
happens.
The opening credits themselves, I really love the various visuals we get, and like the Cerritos hitting the iceberg basically. And like the one nacelle starts flickering, then the other starts flickering, and then all the lights are flickering.
Like
So
the
I'm like,
saucer section just and it's like listing.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then uh what Patrick brings up here, and he brought up the icy asteroid as well, but also the Borg and Romulan battle, and the Cerritos is there, and then like gets a little glancing blow by the Borg ship, and they're like, nope.
Nope.
Absolutely, this
Nope.
is such fun opening credits.
Very much so. That's not gonna get old anytime soon for me.
No, no, definitely. And Lawrence Todd, you asked me this earlier on social media as well.
Ooh.
So me and Bruce are no longer on literary treks. Do we drink to that? I don't. Anyway,
I forgot my drink. I knew
oh
I was
no.
missing something. I was just so excited to get here. Forgot my
So yeah,
drink.
oh no.
It's okay.
Um,
It's okay.
yeah. So yeah, what triggers a drink now then? Because we're not going to be bringing it up all the time. So I don't know.
Maybe whenever you mention what is it now? Positively Trek Book
Oh,
Club.
positive. Oh, there you go. Positively Trek book club specifically, yes.
We're just positively Trek. We'll be drunk in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the best. It's the best. It's all great.
Not to make the whole front half of this just plugging the other stuff we're doing, but yeah, Bruce and I have been doing Positively Trek since March, and today, actually, our first episode of the Positively Trek book club, which is our outlet for talking about Star Trek books and comics now that we're done literary treks, just came out. And it's an interview with Margaret Wander Bonanno, who wrote Strangers from the Sky and a ton of other Star Trek novels, but that's the one we're specifically talking about there. And that was so much fun, and it's so good. It was she's fun to talk to. She's from Brooklyn, so there was some editing to do, and I haven't listened to the whole episode myself. Bruce edited it, so I don't know if there's stuff bleeped out or just taken out, but there's some fun stuff, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so, I get that. I recently did a thing that I thought was going to be bleeped, and then it wasn't bleeped, and apparently everybody loved it, so I guess it's okay.
All right. Awesome. So I was kind of thinking of how we're going to talk about this episode, and I think like just linearly, that's a little bit boring.
Totally boring.
The fact that it's the first episode, you know, and kind of the introduction to the characters, I thought maybe we just talk about each character and kind of what they did, because I think each of them has kind of an interesting element to this story. And I was thinking maybe we'll start with Tendi, because I think Ensign Tendi is a little bit of the audience surrogate for this episode. She's the newcomer to the ship. She's getting the tour. She's being shown around. And in a lot of ways, she's being introduced to the world of Star Trek as well, which I thought was really cool, because this could be someone's introduction to Star Trek. And in fact, I know specifically of a few people who, you know, they saw the trailer and they're like, oh, I've never watched Star Trek, but I'm going to check this out. This looks pretty funny. So, you know, we get the introduction of the holodeck. We see like warp drive and just all the fun stuff, a warp core. Like somebody might not even know what the heck that is. I think that was a really interesting way to kind of bring people into not just the show, but maybe the franchise as a whole.
No, I agree, because my coworker, Chris, I hope she's watching. If you're not watching, Chris, I'm going to get you on Monday. She said she had watched half of the first episode last night and then was too tired. She thought it was an hour long. I told her, no, it's just 24 minutes. So she said she was going to rewatch it before the live show. And she has not seen much Star Trek. She's seen a couple of the short treks, which I have shown her, and she has decided she asked me chronologically as far as the timeline where to start. So I started her with Enterprise, which she is enjoying, but she doesn't have the TNG background, and she is loving this.
That's awesome.
Loving it. And again, like, she's a Star Trek noob, so it's good to know that it appeals. And she's also, I'm not going to say her age, but she's not, you know, like Gen X or Gen Y or millennial or what have you. And it really tickled her. So appeals to all ages.
Absolutely. I'm just looking in the comments and people are like just listing some of the dialogue that I loved. This was probably one of my favorite lines in the whole thing. You ever been in a sentient cave? It's a dark place that knows things. I just love that.
Chris is here. Chris is here. She commented.
Oh, awesome. Excellent. Yes.
Love it.
That's perfect. And yeah, this could and is in a lot of cases an introduction to the franchise for a lot of people. So that's so cool, you know. And I'm definitely not a gatekeeper fan. I'm like, the more fans, the better. Anybody who wants to consider themselves a fan of Star Trek, awesome. The more fans there are, the more Star Trek gets made. So
yes, come in, like whatever you like, just come in and be with us.
Definitely. So Tendi, I love that we have an Orion main character. That's kind of cool. Something we've never seen before. And her kind of wide-eyed innocence, but not just innocence, just wide-eyed love of everything. I think, like, jumping to the end when Rutherford is talking about the date, and he's like, "Oh, we're not going to continue. You know, she had no interest in why a red alert overrode the door thing on, whatever."
Recognizing our comm badges. Yep.
Yeah, and
Security door
Tendy's like,
recognizing comm badge.
"What? It did?" Like, she's just right there with him. I love
Yep.
it. That was so good.
Yeah, she's I love her. I loved her immediately. Her enthusiasm is infectious. Also, I think my favorite line from her was actually at pretty much the very end when Mariner asked her, "You still, happy to be here?" And she says, "Are you kidding me? I got to hold a heart."
Yep.
That brought me
Oh,
such joy. Just
that's so
yeah.
good. The little preview, and again, we're just jumping all over, but like the preview at the end of the episode, I rewatched a few times, and I noticed her line where she yells, like they're talking about like how to safely spacewalk, and she's like, "Oh, you just like float magnet," and she said, "What if I forget to magnet?" And she yells it as loud as possible. Like, I don't know the sound editing setup or whatever, or if they did it remotely or whatever, but there's like an echo on her voice that she just screamed this line, and they left that echo in, and I don't know why. I just think that's the funniest thing in the world. I could see
Yes.
like the decision of the director or the editor or whoever saying like, no, just leave the echo. Like, that's funny.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh man. So yeah, Ensign Rutherford is kind of the anchor for a subplot of the episode, and this might have been my favorite part of the episode. This whole date that he's on and getting to know this Trill ensign. Was that Ensign Barnes in the?
That was
No.
Ensign Barnes, yeah. Which
Okay.
is curious because I'm like, so if she's Ensign Barnes, then is Barnes the name of her trill? Because that's weird.
Or she's unjoined. She could be unjoined, but
You know what? That's fair. I'm sorry, I didn't even think about that. Shame on me. Shame on me for not considering that. Here's the funny thing. My maiden name is Barnes. And I'm also a huge fan of the Monkees.
That's funny.
It is funny. It made me
that's
laugh.
really good. All of that said, though, I think the idea of a Trill symbiont named Barnes is great. Like, I kind of take back I'm like, actually, that's funny. I don't know why.
I know.
That just tickles me. But
I know. That's the thing. It's just immediately I thought, oh, she's got a symbiont. Instead of realizing, oh, yes, there are very few symbionts. And why would she necessarily have one? Because if it's supposed to go to the best of the best, and I'm sorry, I'm going in a loop and I'm just going to stop right there. But yeah, that should have been the first thing that I considered. And does that make me racist, you guys? I feel like that makes me racist because I just assumed.
I'm not too worried. If the Trill were real and like we're advocating, I'd maybe, but you're fine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If we ever meet the Trill, maybe it'll be an issue, and we'll just keep quiet about that. But
thank you. Let's promise never to speak of this again. Everyone in the chat, promise.
And yeah, Aaron Harvey, absolutely. Most Trill are unjoined. So
yes, I know. Shame me. Shame me. That's what needs to happen when I make a boo-boo.
So Ensign Rutherford. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. So the Monkees are now canon in Star Trek, which is cool. And I'm wondering if that creates a temporal paradox with Chekhov, who was modeled on Davy Jones, I think, of the Monkees. And now I'm like,
yep.
oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Some of those early wigs were like super bad. Like super bad. And very obviously trying to be Davy Jones.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know that at the time when I was watching the original series because the Monkees were before that. I mean, the Monkees were before I was born, and they hadn't yet invented home video. And so I didn't know who they were until the 80s.
Mhm.
So, but once I saw, Davy Jones, I'm just like, oh, I understand now. I understand that here.
I don't know how true this story is, and I may be misremembering it exactly, but I remember Walter Koenig, maybe in like an autobiography or in something, he was telling a story about, very fairly shortly after becoming Chekhov on Star Trek, he was in a restaurant with a friend, and like a lot of people had been recognizing him from Star Trek, and this friend apparently was getting really annoyed with it, and he was like, just because people kept, oh yeah, you're so famous, ha ha ha, or something like that. But apparently at this one restaurant, somebody came up and is like, "Are you who I think you are?" And he was all like, "Yes, I am." He's like, "Oh, cool. Could you come over to our table and sing 'Hey, Hey, We're the Monkeys'?" And he's like, "Oh." I may be misremembering that, but like I remember him telling a story like that, and it was total digression. But anyway, I love that. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. I honestly would believe that if it actually happened. I would believe that happened.
I love it. Okay, so Rutherford, what else do we want to talk about? I guess he's got one thing I noticed is they said he has the implant is as of a few weeks ago, he's a cyborg.
Yeah,
So
he's the recent cyborg.
yeah, do you think we're gonna get like a flashback or get that story filled in? Because I feel like was there an accident? Like, is this like an Arium situation where like I'm assuming, right? He wouldn't just have it installed just because.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that he would either. I don't know. Also, he keeps talking about the Vulcan implant, which
Hmm.
also just made me say, What?" Because I don't really recall. I mean, I know the Vulcans are really into science and such, but I don't really think of them being, having these major advances in cybernetics per se, which
Hmm.
is not to say that it's not possible. It's just not something that I thought about.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny that his implant was Vulcan and randomly suppressing his feelings.
That is not logical. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you a friend? No, it's just this Vulcan implant.
And that's one of my favorite things that he says is when Mariner asks if he's nervous, he says, "I'm trying to be."
That was really good.
Yeah.
Better? Perfect. Thanks. And yeah, Malcolm says, I love that he has a Vulcan ear. Yeah, the implant, the one ear is just a little
Mhm.
point on it. I think that's
Just a bit.
great.
Yes.
Speaking of Vulcans, a couple of Vulcans in the background of various scenes. Did you catch the one that like after all the like bile or whatever
Oh,
that was
yes.
being spewed out and they
I
had
got
the
it. Mhm. Mhm. Mirror Spock. Oh, yes. Yes,
that was
yes, I got
clever.
that.
That was pretty
I
cute.
got that. I got it the first time, and, the second time I watched it, I thought, "Did I really see what I thought I saw?" Yes, I sure did. I sure did.
Mhm.
So, I'm always on Spock watch.
Absolutely. So the next kind of ensign on our radar, I'd say we should talk about Boimler because I want to save Mariner to last
Oh,
because
yeah.
she's
Yeah.
got some interesting stuff. So Boimler, I actually really liked Jack Quaid's performance, and I
I
think
know.
like the trailers showed him as like really bumbling, and I think that's a bit of a disservice because he's really
Mhm.
not. Like there's a few
Mm.
moments, but for the most part he's just like a straight arrow stickler for the regulations, and nervous, really wants to get promoted, but he's not a bumbling idiot at all. Like he seems to be a fairly level-headed guy, except when he pulls phasers and asks questions later. That was a low moment
Mm.
for him, I think. But
Mhm.
other than that, I really like this character, and I think obviously the long-term arc I think is going to be that Boimler smooths out some of Mariner's rough edges and puts her more on a track to be a model Starfleet officer, but she's also going to influence him to be a little bit more embracing of life and a little bit more taking the initiative rather than just kind of sticking on the straight and narrow path.
Mhm.
Kind of makes
Yeah,
sense.
well, I said to Dave when we were watching the episode the second time, I said, somewhere in between Boimler and Mariner is the perfect Starfleet officer.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who doesn't just do everything by the book and can think for themselves, but also knows when to go by the book and when to go off the book. So, yeah,
Exactly.
that's how I felt about it, and I love Jack Quaid anyway. I really do. I fell in love with him on The Boys, which is an
Oh, yeah,
Amazon Prime series. And before that, I didn't really know that much about him. And the first time I saw him, I wasn't paying attention to the cast list, except I knew Carl Urban was in it, so I was in. And I was just like, why does this guy seem so familiar to me? And then when I
Mhm.
found out who he was, I'm like, oh, he reminds me of his parents. He's like the perfect amalgam of Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid.
Huh. Awesome. I just want to drop in here. Jesse Gender has popped into the comments. Great YouTube channel. Everybody check that channel out. It's great. And a message for you, Brandi.
I think he's still available on the Star Trek shop. So he's like $40. The shipping is what'll kill you though, because
Oh, yeah.
it comes in a very oddly shaped package, but worth every penny to me.
Mhm.
And it keeps the cat out of the bedroom. Cat hates him.
Nice. It's a little bonus. I like that.
Mhm.
So Boimler, one thing I liked about him in this episode is he has even a little bit of growth just within this episode, because
Yes.
that moment he corrects the captain on his name, like
Mhm.
start of episode Boimler would not have done that, and this time he's kind of like looking at her out of the side of his eye like, maybe there is something to Mariner saying, the senior officers are kind of stuck in their own little world here. He's learned that over the episode, and I like that moment. I really like that. It's Bumford. It's Boimler.
Yeah, well, that was disrespectful on the captain's part, because she knew
Absolutely.
his name just fine in the beginning of the episode when she called him up to spy on Mariner
Mm-hmm.
and report back. And then I love how she's making him stand there and wait while she's doing her captain's log that is basically making it sound like
Yeah.
the senior officers always saved the day, when it was Boimler who saved the day. They would all be dead or flesh-eating rage zombies if
Mm-hmm.
it weren't for him being gummed by that giant spider cow.
Yeah. Who'd have thought
And
that
so,
was a sentence you'd say?
yeah, exactly. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth in that particular order.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love that he's just like standing there and he just kind of sighs and rolls his eyes, and he's finally seeing
Yeah.
what Mariner has been seeing all along.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the fact that she even like emphasizes it, right, solely due to the quick thinking of my senior staff. I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything else about Boimler we want to talk about?
I identify with him in a few ways, because I was always the kid who colored inside the lines and followed all the rules, and it doesn't get you life experience, you guys.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying break all the rules. I'm just saying, get some experience. Go out of your norm, out of your comfort zone, and experience some other things and find out who you really are. Because somebody who just follows the rules for the sake of following the rules, that's not the kind of person that's going to rise up to captain one day.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so, and I think that Boimler has learned that a bit in this episode. So there are things that I really can identify with in this character. And just, there are times when I just feel bad for him, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry this is happening. Like being gummed by a spider cow.
So that was the one part that I thought, like from the trailers, I thought the episode would lose me there. But I don't know, there's something about him being gummed by that thing, and just like, oh man, just like, I don't know. This is gonna sound bad no matter how I say it, but like being sucked in and out and in and out. Like,
oh, she's just gumming on him, trying to suck out some moisture. Did you hear that, Boimler?
Oh,
Yeah, that
don't
was
phaser
just
her, you'll sour the milk. Oh man.
oh, it was just, and when he just the look on his face when the spider's almost out of energy is just like,
But
and
I'm
it's just
naked.
like, buddy, you got every right to feel bad right now. You
Poor
just
boy
go
Mark.
ahead and be upset.
Oh, that was great. So yeah, and the fact that his like, bring up anything you can on the holodeck, and he brings up the warp core because
Because he loves the warp core. It's so
it's the
cool.
best part of the ship, followed only by followed by the bridge, followed by something else, and then followed by cetacean ops, which
Yes.
I want to see the dolphins.
Yes,
Oh,
me too.
yeah. I saw recently, I forget where I saw this, but Mike McMahon was asked about that in an interview, and he's like, they're breaking season 2, and they're like, is this the episode where we'll see cetacean ops? And he's like, they keep hinting at it apparently, but they never show it, so I'm excited for that. I'm all about that.
Good times. Good times. Because, I mean, you can do
Absolutely.
that in animation that you just can't really do convincingly in live action without spending a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
on visual effects.
Yeah. Did you see? I don't know who. It might have been Trekcore posted it. Have you seen like the Cerritos's observation lounge briefing room?
Yes. And it was Trekcore. Yes.
Beautiful.
It's
I
very
should have
sexy.
probably had these pictures up so we could share them, but oh well.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. We'll do it tomorrow on Infinite Trek. No worries.
Nice.
I'm very
iron,
winky tonight.
iron out all the stuff that we get wrong so you guys can get it right tomorrow.
Yeah. It's all good.
I like it. So Mariner, who is like for all intents and purposes the main character, I'd say,
She's
of the
first in the
show.
cast list, so
Absolutely. I think Tawny Newsome was great in this. I've seen some people online saying that like, oh, she's too loud, she talks too fast, and that kind of thing. I don't know. I loved her. I thought she was great. And Jesse actually somewhere in the comments said that she ended up being her favorite character. But yeah, I was expecting to love Tendi the most, but was happily surprised that I loved Mariner the most after this episode. And yeah, I'm kind of the same too. I think, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I thought, just to kind of flip that around a little bit, I really liked Mariner. I thought I would like Rutherford the least, but I kind of like him the most, maybe. I don't know. But Mariner's right up there too. I thought she was excellent.
yes. I have been fans of both Eugene Cordero and Tawny Newsome for some years now, because the first time I ever became aware of them was actually on a podcast called Spontanea Nation with Paul F. Tompkins. And he would basically get his improviser friends together. He'd have a special guest. He'd talk to that special guest, just have a free form conversation. And then the improvisers would take things from that conversation and create one big long form scene. And Tawny and Eugene were frequent guests on that show. Very frequent guests. And Tawny is also a very talented singer and guitar player. So
yes, I looked up a bit of that after she'd been cast, and of course she's also now on Space Force, which
yes.
I've only watched 2 episodes of. So I haven't seen much of her, but I did get to see her, and I've been wanting to watch more, but I haven't been able to get back to it. So
yeah, I love her, and I love Eugene, and I love Rutherford because like Tendi, he's kind of without guile. And that is always fascinating to me, because really you just get an unedited version of a person, and it can be really amazing. So I feel like with these 4 characters, though, if you take any one of them away, then you feel that absence. It is such an interesting quartet, and each one of them is integral, I think, to the telling of what stories we're going to get. I'll be honest and let you know that I actually was very, very lucky to get screeners for the first 3 episodes, so I know what's going to happen for at least a couple more. So I can't tell you anything. Well, I could, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
Yeah, there was an embargo on all reviews until the midnight, or basically 12:01 when of the day of release, which is yesterday. But I'm still not going to say anything about 2 and 3 because I just want people to experience them as they happen.
Excellent. Well, the one thing I've heard from more than one person who has seen the first 2, because there was the premiere, they said the second episode is better than the first, and all of them said they liked the first as well. So, yeah.
I guess you'll just have to wait and see.
Excellent. Fanboyamus Prime. I think we know the answer to this one. The only thing that they'll ask about the upcoming episodes, did you enjoy them? And I think we know the answer to that.
Yes!
That's what I figured. Excellent. So Mariner, there's definitely a lot more to talk about with her because of the big reveal, of course, at the end of the episode. And I love how that reveal was done. And it was one of those things that, like, I didn't see coming, but should have seen coming. And like, as soon as, like, at the start of that scene, when she started talking to the Admiral, and as soon as she started saying, like, you know, you agreed that if blah, blah, I was like, oh my God, she's their daughter. Like, I didn't realize up to, and then like, but you know, it has these neat knock-on effects for earlier in the episode, and you kind of get, because I was like, why is the captain taking such a special interest in this one character? I should have realized it then, but you know, I like that reveal was really well done.
I agree. I got it about 5 seconds before it became apparent. And so it wasn't like, I mean, I was thinking about it throughout the episode, but my brain wasn't really focused on that because there was just so much. There was so much to look at and listen
That's how they do
to
it.
and experience. And so I wasn't really thinking about it, but I just thought it's just weird that she's got it in for Mariner in this way. And it's actually kind of unethical to have a crew member that works with her spy on her, and so I really didn't like that. But
yeah,
now I get it.
Yeah, like, even putting, like, as much as you can, even putting like the ethics of it aside, if you justify it by saying, oh, she's her commanding officer, she can do what she wants. What a horrible position to put Boimler in, to
not
like,
cool.
Yeah, to rat on your best friend, or not your best friend, maybe by the end of this episode, possibly, but like, I don't think so at the time, but still, you know, it wasn't, that wasn't cool. Oh,
like
somebody
that.
in the comments, I can't remember when, somewhere back, somebody said, and apologies, I can't credit this, said that the captain treated Boimler the way she seems to have been treating Mariner her whole life. So it's like, oh, there's something really telling there.
Yes, and I said to my husband, I can understand why Mariner is the way she is. I can fully get why. Well, you know, there are other things going on there, but I can fully get why. Because I feel like this is another Tilly's mom situation.
Yes,
that
very
Mariner
much
was
so.
raised with expectations, and she was not as, I don't know, kowtowed as Tilly was into trying to be something that she's not, and has just kind of forged her own path. And she's really good. She could easily be a commanding officer in the near future, but that's not her style. She doesn't have the patience for all of that stuff that her mother seems to just love. It's just not her thing. And so it's kind of like a different situation where Mariner was just always like, nah, not doing that. Because that's something that's been going on for years. You can just feel that.
Absolutely. And I like how she's kind of made Boimler her project, because I think she sees a lot of, you know, the values that her parents give lip service to, I guess, because I don't know that they really embody them, but she sees those values echoed in Boimler and is like, I'm going to break you of this. Like,
Mhm.
I'm going to make you see what this is really all about. And
Mhm.
yeah, like I said, I think they're going to meet in the middle somewhere, but it's going to be a fun journey for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, so the actual is it the A plot of the show? I guess not really. The whole virus outbreak thing. That's kind of the background story,
That's
which
the
is
B
funny.
plot, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Because,
I think it's so funny that they call it a rage virus, because the minute that Ransom turns and he starts vomiting this black stuff, I'm like, am I watching 28 Days Later? What has just happened? And then later they call it a rage virus, and I was just like, I don't know if that was purposely a 28 Days Later reference, but in my heart it is, and that's all that matters.
I think in rewatches, one of my favorite lines, and I have to preface everything with one of, because I'm going to call everything my favorite whatever.
Mhm.
I've done this
Yep.
before. It's a thing. But yeah, one of my favorite lines in rewatches was when the Admiral calls the captain and says, do you have some sort of rage virus aboard the ship? And she said, yeah, Ransom tried to eat some people. Anyway.
Yeah, it
Oh yeah.
happens all the time. Yeah. Yeah, I loved it when he's back to himself. Where am I? What happened? Did I eat flesh?
Eat a little
Only
flesh.
a little bit.
Oh man. Okay, sorry. I just a comment caught my eye that I want to highlight, because I agree. Whenever I grow weary of the seemingly endless sour Trek gatekeepers, boo. I watch one of your streams videos and breathe a sigh of joyful relief. Thank you all for being who you are. Oh, that's really sweet. But I agree totally about the gatekeepers. Ugh, whatever.
I don't get that. Why would you want people to hate something you love? Why would you not want more people to love it? I don't know. It is like they feel like more people liking it makes it less than. Like if it's popular, then it can't be good. Or some weird mental thing like that. I've never understood it. I never will.
Definitely. Chris Hill, sorry. Public service announcement. Some show made that joke, and I can't remember if it was like a Family Guy thing or something. Somebody made that joke before, and I love that. It's one of my favorites. Oh, awesome. I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Yes, you guys are awesome so much. Like, you guys are just bringing the comments so fast, and we can't even catch all of them. And you're all just so brilliant. You're all just so brilliant.
Oh man. So I guess the A plot would kind of be the Boimler Mariner thing going on the planet, where Boimler thinks she's selling weapons to the locals and she's actually delivering farm equipment. And this is a kind of another way to get a little bit of insight into her past, because she apparently was on the planet on a different ship as part of the first contact mission. And then she got demoted and transferred to the Cerritos. So it's kind of cool. There's more to that story there. And she says she's been on 5 different ships and she's been promoted and demoted. Like, there's definitely more to this character than just meets the eye, for sure.
I think a lot of she says a lot without saying a lot, with words, because she was talking about how these poor farmers can't wait for Federation bureaucracy to notice them. They need help now so that they don't starve. And that's kind of what does happen a lot of the time in bureaucracy. It's like, here's all this aid, but they don't really help distribute it. They don't really make sure it gets to the people who need it most. You know, they're just dealing with the government of said planet. And so I could see how that would really tick her off, because on one side of it, maybe she's breaking regulations, but on the other side of it, she's keeping people alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say she absolutely did the right thing. Was it by the book? Hell no. Does that matter? Hell no. Those people are now going to actually survive and be able to maintain their farm and live, longer and not die of starvation. How is that a bad thing?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I've got nothing to add to that. That's exactly right. Like, I feel like a lot of the show is going to be about that kind of, ridiculous stuff, the red tape that, and, people can, that are on the ground that can see their way through that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
in this form and others, I feel like they're going to get like ridiculous orders to do something that's like, well, this is ridiculous. We could just do it this way or whatever. But, I think we'll see a lot of that for sure.
Yeah, well, and Boimler, I think, says it best. Starfleet is better with you in it, is what he tells
Yeah,
her.
that was a great line, and one I kind of missed the first time around. I was like, oh, that's actually really sweet. I like that.
Yeah, it warmed
Yeah.
my little heart.
So earlier, I made mention of the premiere a couple nights before the Thursday, like, actual release of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm given to understand, and I was not one of the lucky ones
Me either.
to be able to attend this and get this kind of swag package apparently that came out. And I
Mm.
saw a little bit of it. I still haven't like dug into it, but I saw Trek Core posting about this and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I understand that you have a video to share from Aaron Harvey. Is that
I
right?
do. I do
Hmm.
indeed, because he did get to go to that premiere. And because he is a darling, he did a video and edited it down so that we can get a great idea of what all the fun things are in this box.
Oh, I want this
So,
box. This is pretty cool. I think you guys are
right.
going to like this.
Yes, I think you are. So hold on to your hats, folks. It's coming at you.
All right. Oh, here we go.
Okay, we have the swag box from Lower Decks. This is probably the most graphically complete swag I have ever seen.
I even want just the box. Like, it's
I know,
beautiful.
right?
Sometimes when you go to premieres, you get like a bag that has some things in it, and it's great. But this actually looks themed and thought out. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Okay, that's pretty awesome. There is a postcard. There is a set of 2 whiskey glasses, which also have stickers in them of all the characters out in the Romulan whiskey. We have a USS Cerritos cocktail shaker. We have the DIY Romulan whiskey kit, which has blue curacao to make it Romulan, whiskey. We've got the simple syrup, and I'm guessing, yes, that's the bitters. So we have the directions on how to actually put all this stuff together. And we have a lemon, which I'm assuming is we're going to squeeze the lemon in there, and a t-shirt. So I'm going to take this all apart so you don't have to listen to it all, and then we'll look at it again.
Oh, no ASMR, I guess.
I took everything out. We also discovered that there is, this is very clever. We've got your popcorn, but you also have your own little red carpet. I think Mike had talked about having this, and it looks like they put it together. So this is great. You can roll this out on your laptop, and oh, there it is at the other end. And then you have your own red carpet. It also, underneath the popcorn, is some candy. It's the Haribo, I can never pronounce this, Star Mix. So I don't know if that's an actual part of their branding, if they have Star Mix, or if this is just something they made for this premiere. But gummy candies, popcorn, whiskey, red carpet, in an amazingly well-themed box. I don't think that you can do better than that. Here we are with everything opened up. It's really, really awesome. I love this t-shirt. I partied with Lower Decks, and all I got was this awesome t-shirt. We have the glasses. They're like rock and roll glasses. They can fill them up and they stay stable even if they're on their sides. Got all the components for the whiskey. There's the USS Cerritos cocktail shaker, popcorn, and stickers, and of course the gummy. But the best part is the little red carpet.
That
I
is
hope
pretty
everybody
cool.
enjoys the premiere and watch Infinite Trek Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Outpost 13.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yes, shameless pimping, and well done.
I love it. That is so cool. The one thing I didn't know about was the mini red carpet.
I
That's
didn't know either. Yeah, I
that's
did.
so cute.
I didn't watch all of this before we actually showed it because I didn't want to spoil, the surprise. So I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched it to make. It's my first time sharing a video, so
You did very
on a
well.
live show, so I had to test it beforehand. Thank you. I will say this: I realize now that even if I had been invited to said premiere, I never would have actually gotten the box because it is illegal to ship alcohol to Utah.
Oh wow! Of course it is. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see him mix the drink, but
Right?
next time, Aaron, I want to see your mixology skills.
Yeah, you better do a mixing video.
That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Replicator friendly popcorn too. I noticed that as well. That's good.
Good times. Love it. Thank you for editing that down for us, Aaron.
Yeah.
Well, for filming it in the first place and then editing it down. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. That was perfect. Yeah, so I guess with that said, is there anything else about this episode that we haven't talked about that we really should?
I can't think of anything. Yeah, anyone in the chat got something they want to bring up? Speak now.
Or forever, hold your peace.
Or forever wait till next week.
There you go. Awesome. I guess if you have nothing to bring up, maybe your ratings for Second Contact in the chat and from Brandi as well. Final thoughts, I guess.
Oh, final thoughts. Well, like I said, I watched it 4 times and I enjoyed it every single time for different reasons. Because I always watch something at least twice before I'm going to talk about it on a live show because you always miss something the first time through. And to be fair, I did watch the first episode before it was actually out. And then we watched it again the day of, and then I watched it a couple more times. And I just enjoyed it every time. And those credits are not going to get old for me anytime soon. Those opening credits,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to giggle every single time. And I am fine with that. So, gosh, rating. I always rate things really, really high when I like them. And I really, really enjoyed this. So I think it's going to get 5 non-joined trill out of 5 for me.
Nice. I like that. Before I give my rating, good point. Patrick and TJ both brought up the sand joke. There was a definite Star Wars reference in this when Boimler says sand gets everywhere. That was totally aping Anakin in Attack of the Clones. And the fact that it gives him a rash, I think, was pretty funny. So, it always gives me a rash.
And I felt so bad for him. I actually, I figured that there was a connection there, but I didn't remember what it was because I am not a fan of the prequels, and I've only seen Attack of the Clones once. I've only seen Attack of the Clones once. So,
Nice.
and that was when it was out in theaters. So, yeah, Patrick had to explain that to me, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm not upset about it. I'm just saying.
Not knowing about the content of Attack of the Clones line by line, I think that's an okay thing to get by in your life without,
Okay.
Not trying not to be a negative fan or anything, but it's okay. You don't have to like that.
Patrick and I also just discussed the trauma that I had with whatever episode 3 was named. So,
Oh,
there's
Revenge of the Sith.
oh, thank you. There was some deep trauma that resurrected in me. So it it was not good for me.
Yeah.
I just forget that one exists.
Nice. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this episode as well. I think I was really anticipating it, but I think it also exceeded my expectations. If you go just by the trailers, it's like wall-to-wall laughs and it's just hilarious all the way through. That's not the case. I think this episode had a lot of heart. I think it did a really good job in like 24 or 26 minutes, whatever it was, introducing all of those characters and giving them something meaningful to do throughout. I like in some ways better than a lot of the other Star Trek pilots have in the past, which is kind of mind-blowing to me. I think that's really cool. They don't have like a 7 or 8 character ensemble, and of course the senior staff, which would make it 8 characters if you counted them. We don't know a ton about them yet, so they're holding those in reserve a little bit. But for those 4 main characters, I think we got a great introduction to all of them. And I'm not going to give this episode a numerical rating. Instead, I'm going to say that I look upon this episode the same way that Boimler looks upon the warp core.
Oh, that's so cute.
That is my rating.
It's just so beautiful.
I don't know if I highlighted Patrick's rating yet. I'm trying to highlight everyone's ratings as they pop up. So if I missed yours, I'm sorry. But yeah. Anyway, next week, I guess, what the heck? Let's keep doing this. I
Cool.
don't have plans on Friday yet. So we're talking about season 1, episode 2, Envoys, I think it's called. Brandi, apparently you've seen it. So
I have. But I've only seen it once, so I will watch it several times before I do this.
So from the preview, well, actually, I probably shouldn't say, because there are some people that deliberately skip trailers and don't want to know anything going in. So I won't say anything about it. But yeah, anyway, I guess I can't say anything more. So yeah, join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, people just highlighting the great lines throughout. There's so many.
Baby hands.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about the senior staff as the series goes on too. So yeah, looking forward to getting to know them better too. I love Dr. Ta'ana, by the way.
Oh, same.
Yeah,
same. Basically, she's what I would be like if I were a chief medical officer, just constantly annoyed with everything. I adored her. I absolutely adored her.
I love that they bleep swears. Like, I think that's fun.
Yeah, basically anything worse than bitch is going to get bleeped. So, or bleep, bitch and dick, okay. Anything beyond that, gonna get bleeped, which is hilarious.
And I don't think I'm spoiling too much if I talk about this from the trailer. If you don't like trailers, plug your ears just for the next few seconds. The fact that body parts get censored bars over them too.
Yes.
Whoever thought Star Trek would do that?
It's fantastic.
Love it. All right. Well, I guess that's it. There's no poll because we know what episode we're talking about next week. So we'll see you all next week. Have a great evening. And Aaron, enjoy your Romulan whiskey.